G'day people, today I'm going to be making green vegetable lasagna. Now I was inspired to create this dish after watching a YouTube clip where Vincenzo of Vincenzo's Plate absolutely lambasted Jamie Oliver for making a rather dodgy looking one pot lasagna. And that one pot was a fry pan, large fry pan. Now, it may well be that that particular recipe wasn't any good, and it may be that it didn't taste any good at the end, even though Jamie, of course, did the money shot, said it was wonderful. You know, maybe it wasn't great. But I was shocked by the way Vincenzo carried on, absolutely going to town on poor Jamie, you know, who maybe is down on his luck a bit at the moment. I was shocked, number one, by saying that Jamie was insulting all Italians because he used lasagna sheets in a dish that was completely different to typical Italian lasagna. Well, hello, these are an ingredient, Vincenzo. Lasagna sheets are an ingredient. A cook can use any ingredient any damn way he likes. And if some English dude wants to use lasagna sheets and his dodgy recipe that you don't like, well, fine, you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But it's not an insult to all Italians because he did something stupid or something inappropriate that you think is inappropriate. That's his business. And I would have thought, as a chef, that you would understand that it's a chef's right, chef's license, to use any ingredient any way he likes. And it's not an insult to the people that the ingredient came from if you don't like what they did with it. It's their right. You don't have to eat it, number one. Number two, he complained about all the English ingredients that Jamie put in. For example, complained about cheddar cheese. Said he should have used Parmesan. Really? I don't know if you know this, but cheddar cheese is the single most popular cheese in the entire damn world. And although Parmigiano is a wonderful cheese, and I'm not knocking it at all, I love it, but there's a place for one and there's a place for the other. They both have their place. It may be that this dish, cheddar cheese, was better placed than Parmigiano. I mean, cheddar is a better melting cheese. He also complained about the humble leek. The leek. How dare you complain about the leek? Perfectly legitimate ingredient. It's grown all over the world and loved. You can't complain about the leek just because it's not something that you grew up with. He also complained about butter. Jamie used butter where Vincenzo thinks he should have used olive oil. Well, maybe not. Maybe in this particular recipe butter was more appropriate, and I think it was. Finally, he absolutely hit the roof. Hit the roof when Jamie used hot English mustard. Ma che cazzo fai? Well, if he wants to use it, fucking let him use it. So, why don't you just come out with it, Vincenzo, and say you hate English cooking, you hate English ingredients and Welsh ingredients, and you hate the British people. Just fucking come out and say it. So, da tutti I personaggi inglesi, da tutti I gallesi, io dico questo a te, Vincenzo. Grande cazzo a faccia tu. Now, another thing that really shocked me was Vincenzo getting into bed with Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger? Hiya! Why you get in bed with that man? Only mai told me. Roger not even his name. He not even cook. cannot even put milk on Coco Pop. Even baby in America can put milk on Coco Pop. This is not even his real voice. He is like an old joke that needs to stop. He is like old dog that need to be put down because he keeps shitting on the floor. Hiya! So there it is. That's the that's the rant at the beginning. Now let's get on with the cooking. Alright, let's crack on with this. So we start by parboiling some spuds. I've already peeled them, of course, so just slice them fairly thinly. They're going to be the bottom layer of the lasagna. Now, Jamie did not put spuds in his dodgy recipe, but I think they're necessary because you need that kind of foundation, and spuds go really well with the other ingredients. I mean, spuds and leeks, always. Leek and potato is just a famous classic for good reasons. Marriage made in heaven. It's possible I've got too much here, but whatever. I just dice them up, slice them up, and we just put some boiling water in there. Not too much. And put them on the stove. Probably with some salt. I'll put a bit of salt in there. Put the lid on, and I'll just simmer those for about 5 minutes. Now the next step is the star of the dish, asparagus. This is one thing that Jamie did put in, and it's absolutely the star of the dish. So get the best asparagus you can. And which is a supermarket asparagus, not the greatest, but it'll have to do. And cut off the white bits. The white bits are going to be the bits that might end up being stringy, and you don't want a tough stringy thing in this dish. I mean, the stalk of asparagus is always going to be there's always going to be the possibility that it's going to be stringy. No worries, but try to minimise it. And by cutting them short here, what we do is by cutting them short is, if you do get a stringy one, it'll still be bite-sized, right? What you don't want is a great long stringy one that, you know, it's out of the range of your mouth. Alright, let's put some butter in it. I probably want a couple of tablespoons of butter here. Vincenzo didn't understand. I believe he didn't understand what Jamie was trying to get at, what Jamie was trying to accomplish, what Jamie was trying to do. And I thought I could see what Jamie was trying to do. I didn't think he achieved it. I didn't think he went about it the right way. I mean, number one, you can't make a lasagna in one pot. And, you know, Vincenzo made that point, and fair point. I've got nothing against Vincenzo for making culinary criticism, you know. If someone uses the wrong practice, like you can't make lasagna in one pot. No, you probably can't. You're probably right about that, you know. So that was a legitimate criticism. I won't be using one pot, I'm going to use 5. Right? 5. Well, I'm trying Asahi Dry at the moment. Not my favourite beer. If you're going to drink Japanese beer, I much prefer Sapporo. Sapporo, much better than Asahi. There's going to be a lot of butter. I'll tell you why there's going to be a lot of butter, because we're going to be sauteing a lot of stuff in this one pan. Starting with the asparagus. So asparagus in, get that butter distributed. Let's put some salt in too. But this is a very bland dish. There's no meat in it. Asparagus is the strongest flavour in the whole thing, so you do want plenty of salt. And potato, you know. Potato's another ingredient. Quite bland. Alright, the spuds are just starting, so I'll put the simmer on them. Now broad beans, half a cup of broad beans. I just got these out of the garden. Got quite a lot of this stuff out of the garden actually. Garlic, well, Jamie didn't call for garlic, but I think garlic and asparagus are going to work. So I'm going to use garlic. A couple of cloves. Couple of cloves of garlic. Yeah, I'll just saute the garlic with the asparagus. I won't get off there. Right. I'll just get my garlic mincer, which I didn't use last time, but I'm going to use it this time. I'll throw the garlic in. Rest in. Just need a knife. Don't know about that mincer. Maybe I put too much in at once, I don't know. But I think it could have done a better job ideally. Alright, stir it around. And a bit of water's come out already. Try to keep the water level of the ingredients down a bit because all these ingredients do create water. You don't want too much water. I mean, this is a recipe that's going to be pretty sloppy, but try not to make it too sloppy. Alright, now I've washed this. This is half a leek. I've washed it already, so I'm just going to cut it up and throw it in. Throw that lot in, just put it on top and oops. Put it on top, let the water reduce a bit. Yeah, we don't want too much dark green. I mean, I could have put that in, but whatever. Don't want too much dark green. So it's a bit of a complicated dish, uses quite a few saucepans, but I mean it's complicated in one sense, it's got a lot of ingredients, but it's not complicated in terms of the cooking process, it's pretty straightforward. Leek. So let's get that coated with the butter. Might put a bit of salt in. You probably don't want to go too crazy with the salt. I mean, if you're going to serve this up to a group of people, probably better to let them salt it themselves, but sometimes people won't salt, Some people won't put enough salt on something, so if it's served up to them without enough salt, they just eat it. Some other people put too much salt. They'll always put additional salt on everything. Like my father was like that. Ah, secret ingredient, put some lemon zest. Put some lemon zest in. Not too much, probably at half the zest of a lemon. Oh, by the way, this particular recipe is half quantities. So, if you're going to make a normal lasagna dish full, you need to double. Right. So good. And sit there and gently cook. Now we've got a zucchini. I mean, I did make a number of changes to Jamie's, not just in the methodology. Like I put potatoes in, he didn't put them in. I put zucchini in, he didn't put it in. But I had zucchini in the garden. I got too much zucchini in the garden. So, and I thought, you know, it'll work, and it does. It works well. So all of these ingredients, all of these green vegetables that I'm putting in, they all work well together, really well together. Be surprised. You, Vincenzo, will be surprised when you make it. I hope you do. I mean, I'm making this to show you that there was method in Jamie's madness. It wasn't complete stupidity from go to woe. There was an actual recipe in there waiting to come out, and I brought it out. So do what I do, make it the way I do, and you'll see it's a really good dish. Alright. I don't know how everyone else does zucchini, but this is how I do it. Put butter in a pan. Butter, Vincenzo, not olive oil. Butter in a pan on reasonable heat. Not blazing hot, but medium to hot heat. Cut the zucchini into slices, fry the slices. You want to fry them, and you also want to steam them at the same time. And a bit of salt and pepper. Right, so let them cook. Let everything else cook. I think the spuds have overcooked. Mi dispiace. I should have done something about the spuds earlier. They shouldn't be overcooked, but I'm afraid they are. Anyway, it won't matter. It won't matter in the end. It just won't matter. I'm going to need more butter because I haven't made the roux yet. So the idea is get all these vegetables cooked. And then you make the roux. And you cook the lasagna sheets. And then you assemble the dish. Just wash the butter off, give me a sec. So let's just have a look with the camera. I mean, not with the proper camera, with the crappy phone camera. Let's have a look what we got here. Video, film, go, do it. Right. There's our leek. This is the star of the show, the leek, the asparagus, the broad beans, the lemon zest, a bit of salt. Now you can see there's still a bit of water down the bottom, a bit of liquid coming out, so you really want to try to get rid of as much of that as possible. So I might just leave the lid off for a little while, maybe turn the heat up a bit. And we've got the zucchinis. Zucchini. Right. So the trick is, with zucchini, that's it, that's what we want to see. So see the colour? We've got some colour on there. So just turn them over and do the other side. Which can be more difficult than you might think. Sometimes I just don't want to turn over. Like the big ones will turn over, but the smaller ones can be difficult. Getting away, and anyway, that's just something you have to cope with as a cook. Deal with it. Get those bastards turning over. So the idea is you do that, and when you cook the second side, they'll start to go mushy, which is what you want. So the ideal thing is, as you're cooking zucchini, you want them to be a bit mushy. You want them to be a bit mushy, and you also want them to have colour. So colour and mushiness are the two things you're going for. Great. I'll just stir that leek. That could still, I mean, it's alright. It's pretty much okay. It's probably done. Now I'm just going to drain the spuds and the peas. Obviously, garden peas, green peas, you don't need to cook them very long at all. So I'm just draining them. Oh, done. So you can turn the heat off. Turn the heat off on the peas, and just leave them there. They can just sit there and mind their own business. It's time to crack on. Actually, I need another pan. So something is going to have to get sacrificed. I need a bowl of some kind. I'll just get a bowl. Now I really need another saucepan, but I just don't have enough. I'm just a home cook. This one, you need 5 saucepans, and I don't really have it. And I do have some really big saucepans, but they're too big. I don't want to use a really big one. Well, I reckon this is the leek asparagus mixture. I'll just tip it all out and I'll use this. I need a saucepan to make the roux. That'll do. It'll do just fine. So I'll just give it a bit of a wash. Might even just have a little taste. Oh man, those broad beans. Homemade broad beans, the best. Just gonna give it a wash. Yeah, the leek not completely finished, but it'll be finished when I make the lasagna. No, I forgot what I was going to say. Something to do with cooking. Yeah, so being a cook, it's all about, being a really good cook, it's all about getting everything to finish at the same time. It's all about managing time, you know. I put this on now, I'll put this on halfway through, this will be ready just when that's ready, then I'll mix the two and I'll go back with this thing. It's quite difficult, you know, if you're not experienced in it, and you haven't made the same recipe again and again and again, it's actually difficult to get that stuff right. Very difficult. And that's why you pay professional chefs, because they know how to do it. Cook better than I do. I mean, I do the best I can, but I'm not cooking for 50 people or 20 people. I'm not doing it. So I respect those people, those men and women who do cook for 20 and 50 people every time they go to work, or more. I think they're incredible that they can pull it off, you know, because sure as hell it ain't easy. Alright, so the zucchinis are nicely coloured. They're just starting to burn, which is fine. As long as you don't properly burn them, don't really burn. Just start, a little bit of carbonisation, beautiful. I've just turned the heat right down on the zooks. Turn the heat right down on the zooks, so they are just going to be nice and mushy when I come to make the lasagna, which is what I want. Alright. It's time to make a roux. Put your hand up, everyone who knows how to make a roux. Now this is supposed to be, some people think this is a tablespoon. This is not a tablespoon. I mean, some idiot decided, there's no agreement on what a tablespoon is. It's supposed to be 20 or is it 25 mil? And then you get some dickheads who decide they're going to make one that's 15. Well, it's not a tablespoon, guys. What the fuck are you thinking? Alright, so what you do, make a roux, you get your butter, about 2 tablespoons of butter, and you put in 2 moderately heated, proper tablespoons, not fake tablespoons, of flour. Fry it a little bit, then hit it with the milk. Alright, this is the trick. Put some milk in, not too much. Don't put it all in at once, that's not the way it works. Like some people will do it with a whisk. Well, bugger that, this is the way to do it. Use a spoon, push the flour down with the spoon into the milk. I've got to use the camera for this, the phone for this. I hate this because it really needs 2 hands and I'm just not going to do a good job, but I apologise in advance. I mean, I'll do the best I can, but it's not going to be very good. And you should be able to see that it's all starting to make a bit of a mess on the bottom of the pan. It's fine, it's all solidifying, coagulating. Right, I need 2 hands for this. So what you do is you mix it in really well with your spoon. And you rub it against the side of the pot and against the bottom of the pan so that it all forms one equally smooth mixture of flour and milk. Hang on, let's have a look at that. Right? See that? It's one thing. Then you put more milk in. And you stir it around. Now the first step's most important because if you don't do it properly, it's always going to be crap. But if you make the first step properly and it forms one smooth, contiguous, floury and milky thing, it'll be right. After that you'll be right. It won't turn into, you won't get lumpy. You won't get lumpy. You don't want lumpy roux, right? And swish it around, swing it around, and it should look like that. And you put more milk. Put more milk. Once you've got to that point, you're pretty right. You probably can't stuff it up after that point. Probably, although you know, I'm sure there's really crap cooks that can stuff it up. I mean, I've seen people burn water. So, yeah, a bad cook can achieve anything. Alright. Yeah, just bring that up to temperature. The other thing I want to do is it's time to get the lasagna on. So, I'll turn the just turn the kettle on. I'll throw some lasagna sheets in. Done. Let's turn off the zucchini, they're well and truly done, probably overdone. Alright, now this is a cheese roux. It's not just a cheese roux. Put in some cheddar cheese. Because when you're making a roux, a cheese roux, you don't want parmesan, you want cheddar. I mean, one reason you want cheddar is cheaper. What are you paying? Especially if you've got real Parmigiano Reggiano. Man, that stuff, like, what is it? $38 a kilo or some bullshit. Those are just Aldi extra tasty, which is alright. I mean, it's not going to win any culinary awards, but it's okay, it does the job. Put the cheese in. Put some salt in. Not too much. Put some pepper in. And you know what the secret ingredient making lasagna is? And this is true for Italian lasagna. This is not just Australian lasagna or English lasagna or whatever. This is true for Italian lasagna. The secret to making a really good Italian lasagna is you make the roux with butter, not olive oil, because the butter has a richness that you will never get. You will never get with olive oil. And it's that richness. Oh, I hate doing this one-handed. It's just bullshit. Now, here it is, Vincenzo. The secret ingredient that takes this dish to the next level. Hot English mustard. Uno. Due. What an incredible ingredient. Alright, so just mix it in well as you can, which ought to be perfectly. Mix it in, and it will add, it goes really well with those green vegetables, whether you believe it or not, Vincenzo. And also, as it cooks, the heat goes out of it. That's why you got to put 2 in, because it really doesn't. You know, this doesn't come through the cooking process as well. And when you eat it raw, like if you put it on top of something raw, it's very, very strong. But when you cook it, it isn't. Right. The roux's done. Let's get the lasagna in. Probably 4's enough. they're big sheets, 4's enough. I think I might need some more water. So I'll get the water on. Alright, don't want to boil it too hard, just boiling comfortably. Okay, lasagna is cooked, they're nice and soft, sheets are soft. So we just take our half-size lasagna dish, which is, this is not a lasagna dish, but it's going to do for the purposes of this clip. So you put a bit of olive oil and a bit of water in the bottom, swish it around. This will hopefully help the avoid the lasagna sheets from sticking. Hang on, I'm going to need to do a bit of trimming here. So I'll just grab the ever-present chopping board. Now we take out one of the sheets. Out you come. Of course it tears. This is why people don't like cooking with lasagna sheets, because they fucking do not behave. Alright, we need to cut a bit off that. Hang on, get a knife. Cut a bit off it. Now we'll just put that in. Yeah, they're a bastard to work with. I don't recommend them. They're easy if you're doing, if you make your own lasagna sheets, which I've done. And you know, it's a good thing to do, make your own lasagna. And this is another thing why Vincenzo is out of line with his statement about lasagna. Because lasagna sheets are the simplest thing you can make. When you start making homemade pasta, they're the first thing you're going to bloody make. Lasagna sheets. So, you know, you don't own them, Vincenzo, you don't own them. Italy doesn't own them. They might have, I mean, those pastry things, noodles or whatever, are all over the world. Like, you know, the Chinese will tell you they invented them. Which is probably true, by the way. But really, no one owns them. They're a simple ingredient, you know, eggs and flour, and you roll. The first thing you're ever going to do is roll them out, right? Everyone's going to do it, and that's lasagna. That's a lasagna sheet. Then you go and make whatever the hell you like with it. But it starts with a sheet. So the idea that a sheet of pasta is somehow copyright Italy, no, it isn't. No, it is not. Right, so we put in a layer of potato. I've probably got a bit more potato here than I really need. Like if I was Anna at home or something, maybe I would say, oh no, we're not going to waste, we can't possibly waste the potato, but I'm just going to waste a little bit. Hang on, I'll get the stupid phone again. I really hate this. I wish I had a better way, but this is the way it is. Unpress this stupid thing, right. So that's one sheet. Oh, I meant to say that's one layer. Right, that's one layer. Or we could try using a knife. It's probably a bad idea. Where's my fork gone? There it is. So you can't really use instant lasagna sheets for this because there isn't enough liquid in the layers. In the stuff you're going to put on them, there isn't enough liquid. Like normally, if you're making vaguely bolognese sauce, you can put a very liquidy bolognese sauce on, and it'll be fine. the sheets, which are raw, which are dried, pasta asciutta, dried pasta, they will absorb the excess fluid in your sauce, and you'll get this beautiful cooked thing. Right, second layer, zucchini. Oh man, smell that. Can you smell that? I don't know if you can smell that. Of course you can't smell it. We don't have odour vision here, or Wonka vision, or any of those. Smells fantastic. Got a little bit of charring going on. The zucchini's nice and soft, as you'd think it would be after sitting around for 10 minutes. I mean, I could probably have put more. I could have put more in. I mean, you're never totally sure. Alright. Beautiful. Oh, you know I did wrong. I hate this. Doing things wrong. Alright. This is the first mistake. You're supposed to put some roux over the first layer. Well, sorry guys. Mi dispiace, I fucked up. So, we can't put it over the first layer, so I'll put it over the second. I'm not going to try and take it apart once you start assembling lasagna. You don't fucking go and take it apart. Probably. Unless you're crazy. Which, maybe I am, but let's move on to the next one. Ah, god damn it. Come here, you sloppy mess. Yeah. Pain in the ass to deal with. Yeah, so if you make your own lasagna, much easier to deal with than this slippery crap you get from the shop, which is honestly, it's a pain. But I just couldn't be bothered today making my own lasagna. Couldn't be bothered. I know I should have if I really cared, but I guess I don't really care. I mean, my name's not Funicello, or Berlusconi, or Carluccio. None of those. Right, so now we put on the last layer. The special layer. This is it. This is the thing that's going to make the dish. This is the layer with the leeks, the broad beans, the lovely broad beans, straight out of the garden, right? I only picked them like 2 days ago or something. Straight out of the garden. It's got the lemon zest, it's got the asparagus, which I don't even know what the Italian for asparagus is. I mean, I know what the Italian is for artichoke, carciofi, but I don't know what the Italian for asparagus is. Ancora, mi dispiace. Alright. Oh. Honestly guys, pain in the ass dealing with this shit. Anyway, I'll get through it. I'll get through it, and then I'm going to eat it. Alright, that goes on top. Oh, did I forget to film that? Fuck's sake. Hang on, I'll just wash my hands. I mean, it would be nice to have an assistant like these famous chefs, famous YouTube chefs that have got assistants. Right, there it is. That's the magic layer. Okay, done. Done. Let's put this mess back together. Like that. Like that. Like that. Too much. Oh, damn it. That's pretty right. You could you get a bit anal if you want to. Put a bit more on here and a bit more on there, and fuck around till the cows come home. Right. That'll do. I did have one sheet too many. Che me ne frec. Alright. I put the the roux over the top. Just like you do with proper Italian pasta. Proper Italian lasagna, you know, which is bolognese or close to it. If you haven't seen my video on Australian bolognese, what is wrong with you? Get onto it. Watch that. That'll change the colour of your day. I mean, there's a lot of people on the there's, God, there must be 1 million chefs on YouTube. You know, there's housewives from Turkey and talentless hacks from the US trying to convince you that their stuff is any good. You know, God knows how much of it's any good, probably not much. That'll do, I can't be bothered. Any more bullshit. So, tell you what, this might be shitty Woolworths pasta, but it's not bad. I mean, once you cook it, shove it in your gob. I'm sure no Italian would be seen dead eating it, but it's alright. I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but it's just pasta, you know. Tastes like pasta. Right. Oh, hang on. No, we have to do the close-up. Do the close-up. Button, right? Do it. There you go, there's the roux. The top layer of the lasagna is a cheese and... Press that button, right? There you go, there's the roux. The top layer of the lasagna is a cheese and English mustard roux. Don't use Dijon for this, for Christ's sake. I'll tell you what wouldn't work. I mean, I don't know whether you think hot English mustard is going to work, but I assure you that Dijon will not work. There's a huge difference between hot English and Dijon, right? Do not confuse the two ever. They are completely separate and they are used for different things. So do not ever assume that one is in any way similar to the other. And then there's American mustard, which is only good for hot dogs and nothing else. Alright, put that in the oven for an hour, 180 degrees Celsius. I'll be back then. Okay, this lasagna's been in the oven for an hour. Took it out for about 15 minutes, let it cool down a bit because I'm going to taste this. And I don't want to burn my mouth, so let's eat it. Let's have a look and let's eat it. First we cut through it. Easy cutting. The lasagna sheets are obviously well and truly cooked. This is very soft. Very soft, which is what you want. Now, if you've ever cooked a lasagna yourself, you'll know what a lasagna should look like. The roux on the top layer of the lasagna should puff up and it should brown, you know, which is exactly what's happened here, so it's looking good, looking very good. Alright, we just cut it away from the sides. Now, the moment of truth, see if we can serve this up. Now, it should be cooked double size in a proper lasagna dish. It's just me, I'm not going to eat the whole thing, so I've done half a size in this casserole dish. So it's going to be tricky to get it out. Going to be tricky, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to do everything I can to get this out in one piece. Look at that. The bottom layer did stick a little bit. That's alright. I'll just eat it. I mean, I'm not a Michelin chef. I'm not too anal about these things. I'm just going to eat it. Alright. Tell you what I need. Forchetta. So we'll just cut it up a bit, cut through the layers, cut through the layers, cut through the layers. Così, molto bene. Soft, soft as you want, nice and soft. Now, sprinkle some lemon juice, drizzle some lemon juice on it. I don't have to go too mad, but just a bit. Lemon juice will give you the zing, give you zing to this dish. I mean, there's actually various things that give zing to this dish. The lemon juice is one of those things. Stop it, go away. Right, un poco di parmigiano reggiano, così. Così, parmigiano. Bene, bene, molto bene. E basta. Allora. Alright, let's do some close-ups. Let's have a look at this dish. Have a look at what we get. Guarda bene, Vincenzo. Guarda bene. So we've got obviously the lasagna, there's a bit of zucchini there. You can see some leek. Alright. The critical point, the taste. What does it taste like, Mr. Mars? Is it all bullshit? Or are you actually onto something? Let's find out. Possible I overdid the cheddar a little bit. Let's have a taste with this one with the zucchini on it. Oh. Oh. Oh, man, troppo caldo. Troppo caldo, ma squisito. You know, I can taste the hot English mustard is there. You know, it's not like you get with the cold. Like, say you get a bit of sausage, salsiccia, you put some hot English mustard on, you really taste it's hot, right? It's not like that. It's there, but it's not. It doesn't dominate. And the potato gives it the basis. This is what you needed, Jamie. The potato is totally necessary. Oh yeah. And potato, the leek. We've got a bit of pea here. Let's try the pea. Now, the flavour of the leek is it's understated, you know, but it's in the background, but it provides this background of flavour. I haven't managed to get any asparagus yet. I think there's some asparagus in this bit. Because I cut it, it came out on an angle when difficult to get out of this casserole dish in one piece. So it came out at an angle, but so the asparagus was left in the top. Hang on, I'll try this bit. I need more asparagus. Let's go some more. Can we find some more asparagus? Definitely a bit of asparagus there. Very subtle, you know. I thought it would be stronger. And the lemon zest hasn't. It's a bit too subtle. Maybe I should have gone more lemon zest. Oh. Honestly, this is a really good dish. I mean, might even one day be considered a classic. Really good. Asparagus is pretty subtle. The leek is subtle. The lasagna itself, the sheets of lasagna, you know, they're there. But they're bland, right? And the roux is bland. And the hot English mustard is it's subdued by being encased in all that roux and by being cooked for a long time. It all balances. It all balances. You know, if you like macaroni cheese, which is a fairly bland dish, you know, but it's a classic dish. It's bland, but it's classic. The flavours don't knock you down, but they're there. They're pleasant. You eat it, you enjoy it. And this is the kind of thing it is, right? Like bits of zucchini, right? The zucchini is not exactly the strongest flavour in the world. It's not the strongest flavour in the world. Perfectly balanced with all the other mild flavours that there are in this dish. English cooking, a lot of it's very mild, you know, that's why the English traditionally don't have the chilli, you know, and don't have the garlic, because they like it mild. And this is fairly mild, but it's not too mild. The flavours are there, right? The potato is a fantastic basis for this whole thing. You know, it is a lasagna. You can say what you like, Vincenzo. It's a lasagna. It's made in layers. Each layer is different. I mean, zucchini, it's Italian, man. It's mild, blends right in with this English stuff. You can say what you like. The hot English mustard does not destroy this dish. If anything, it makes it. But it's only one of the things that make it. It's made by a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things. So, this is actually a really good dish. Really good dish. I recommend anyone make this. Especially you, Vincenzo. Have a bloody go at it. Do it the way I did it. See what you think. You could maybe just use 1 teaspoon of whole English mustard if you really hate it that much. Just use 1. You could even use more garlic if you want. No problem. It'll be fantastic. It's a really nice dish. I mean, I seriously recommend you give it a go. You should apologise too after you try it. After you try it, don't take my word for it, make it. Then I expect an apology, not only to me, not only to Jamie, but to all the people of Great Britain whose cuisine you disparaged. So, one last thing before I go. Apieri. My Hen Wlad Fy Nhadau, and unwilling me, brad byr the cancorion, and wogion of re, I good ravel wir, glad gar wir tramad, tros raved kochlasant, I glad. Glad, glad, plaid your wife, him glad, tamor and fear, here behof by, o baved, here hen yaith, but O baved, ir hen yaith, but